Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, live from the HCCTV studios. Good to have you with us this Monday morning, August the 18th. We're halfway through August. And yes, it's going to be over 100 degrees again today. It's been seems like forever since we've had a day where the high was less than 100. But we're stuck with it for just a little while longer. My co-host this morning, joining me every Monday, Dr. Nicholas Cox with the History Department. Nick, good to see you.
Welcome. Good morning, Todd. You know, I tell my sons who complain about the heat that it's a nice cool 80 if they get up at 5 a.m.
It is. That's exactly right. Now, I'll tell you, I got up this morning probably around 5:30ish or so to take my dogs out for a walk. And I could tell you there were a number of people already out there on the trails, just, either getting exercise or walk in. But, you go out after 10 a.m. and it just seems just brutal, impossible to get out in this weather.
That's right. My sons, they're 17 and 23. I don't think they see 5 a.m. very often, so they don't like my advice.
Well, Nick, we want to thank everybody watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube. You can catch us live at 10 a.m. every morning, just about every weekday morning when HCC is in session. But they can also catch us in social media anytime, rewatch the show, and then check out the rebroadcast on HCCTV.
That's right. And we are live on the Houston Community College District's Facebook page and on YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn, HCCTV, and the X, the social media formerly known as Twitter, at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, so stick around, Nick, because you're going to be checking in with this next guest. Dr. Nithy Sevanthinathan is the director of HCC's International Student Services, and it's one of the largest in the country. Nithy, good to have you on the show again.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Nick, for having me again. This is going to be an awesome day.
We're looking forward to hearing from you very soon, so stick around. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes. All right, we're going to kick things off with one of our returning guests. It's Mental Health Monday, and August is National Wellness Month. So we're getting tips from one of our regulars who just returned from Africa to speak about the very topic. Dr. Quinella Minix, also known as Dr. Q, joining us live this morning. Good to see you, Dr. Q.
Good to see you, Todd. Good morning. Happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's talk about August is Wellness Month, and let's talk about some of the various aspects of life and how we can get through those. We're hoping you can give us some tips. Let's start with practicing mindfulness. What does that mean, and what can we do?
Well, mindfulness is one of my favorite things to do. It actually helps you to be a bit centered, and it helps to relieve stress and those things, and it's actually being in the moment. Focus in the here and now and not tomorrow and the next day. So being present, I always give this example of, when you were a kid, you sat outside and you watched the trees blow. You're in that moment when you watch the leaves flow and it's like you're not thinking about anything. So it's like a good stress reliever.
It seems like a lot of us are always caught up in, okay, well, a couple of months from now, this is coming up. Then, life can move on, as opposed to just sitting where you are. You're missing the life that you have right this moment.
Yes, we spend so much time planning and preparing instead of saying, okay, I'm going to take 10 minutes. And I always recommend when you have your 10 to 15 minute breaks at work is to sit down and go sit outside or look out the window if you have access and just pay attention to something and concentrate and focus and be in that moment versus thinking about the next thing you have to do. Get a cup of coffee, get some water, get some tea, get a cold drink, and just relax. Stay in the moment.
And speaking of getting outdoors, we talked about it being very hot right now to get outside in Houston. And I'm hearing, it's fascinating. I heard a subject being discussed on one of the news channels, I'm not sure which one, about this summer, people are getting depressed because they're developing this weird notion of staying inside, and it's depressing them because they can't get out and enjoy the summer. Have you noticed that with people because of the excessive heat?
Yes, it is. It's too hot to get out and enjoy anything. But, to actually get out, maybe choose when the sun goes down to spend time and walk and socialize. It is definitely too hot. And depression is setting in with those things.
Physical activity. I always know when I start a day off by riding my bike or running, it usually is a much better day than days where I don't do that. So how does that affect our mindfulness and our overall mood?
Oh, wow. Working out is essential. Working out treadmill, walking is probably one of the best things you can do. Everybody thinks you need to do something strenuous, but walking will relieve your stress in a tremendous way. Even yoga, sitting, meditating, if you sit down and do some yoga or just meditating, it actually brings down and calms your body. But walking is one of the best things that you can do to do physical fitness.
I imagine you need to prioritize your self-care. How can you do so?
Well, I always recommend is setting a time on your phone that says, okay, you turn your phone off during that time and you set some time to say, okay, like you set an appointment to go and get your hair done, your nails done, or you set an appointment to have a meeting, set an appointment for me time. Outside of family, a lot of times we set time for everything but ourselves. Set some time, 20 minutes a day works.
And
just having some me time.
We talked a little bit about the problems with getting outside, but right now, how can you connect with nature? I imagine, like we talked about, getting early in the morning or late in the evening.
Yeah, early in the morning works. Get up 30 minutes early, go sit outside if you can, balcony, your porch, go for a walk just in your neighborhood. Or late in the evening when the sun goes down, just get out and connect with nature. Go sit down, have a walk in a park, or go sit down to a coffee shop and just sit outside instead of sitting inside.
And what about diet? How does that play into this? I imagine eating right is the best way to go. Does that affect your mood as well?
Oh, definitely. Fruits and vegetables. And people don't understand, just adding apples or adding fruit in your day can actually help to reduce the stress in our bodies of eating clean. And sometimes people want to go like from one extreme to the next. Just start incorporating small things in your body that'll help your mood and stabilize.
We spend our lives scrolling through our phones and social media, interacting with people, and sometimes that's not the best thing for you. How do you cultivate positive relationships as opposed to maybe online toxic ones?
Ooh, yeah, that's a difficult one because we become so detached lately. So I actually really just thinking about your support system, thinking about someone in your phone. Go in your phone and find someone that you haven't spoken to in a while. And I know detaching from the phone, but that's a good way to socialize and say, okay, I'm going to schedule to meet with you once a month, meet with friends or reconnect with people because we become so detached. I think just making a conscious effort to reach out to people you haven't talked to in a while to say, how are you doing?
If you're having a hard time getting out of, depression or getting out of the ruts, what do you suggest so that people can elevate themselves?
I would suggest getting out and doing some simple things, getting out and being around others a lot of times can help to reduce that. And sometimes it gets difficult where you can't, but maybe watching some comedy if you can't get out, going and shopping. And it's not the best thing, but it's a thing that help you. And then going to dinner or lunch with someone that you care about.
There's a lot to be said about shopping therapy, when you go out and just buy something new to make you feel good, but then you put it on a credit card and the bill comes later on in the month and you regret it. So,
yeah, that's why I say within limits. And I probably should have suggested that one, but it's a good one, even if it's something small.
Finally, the wellness tips suggest that everyone, we've talked about it just a few moments ago, unplug and disconnect. How do you do that in this world? I mean, some of us, have to be available 24/7.
An easy one to do is, it's a lot easier than you think. For dinner time, 15 to 30 minutes prior to dinner, put your phone, there's a basket a lot of people have, but go and plug your phone up. It'll help you so you don't plug it at night. You can do a reverse plug in to charge it and then go and enjoy the people in your home or enjoy yourself and have a good dinner without the cell phone. That's a good way to unplug, even if it's just for 30 minutes to an hour.
Do you suggest doing this as a family unit, both, husband, wife, kids, all do this at the same time?
Yes, I've done it in my own home. It's like when it's dinner time, I don't get on the phone. If I'm with someone, with my family, phone's off, and I'll give them that direct attention. Children need a direct 20 minutes from their parents every day. So put your phones away and spend 20 minutes with your family.
Dr. Quinella Minix is an elite performance coach, psychotherapist, and our Mental Health Monday guest. If people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do so?
Go to www.iamdrq.com and I'll be there and I'll respond.
Dr. Q, we appreciate you joining us. We look forward to seeing you next month. We're going to have all your information in our social media post after the show.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dr. Q. All right, Nick, you've got a special guest too, talking about our international student services, which around here is a pretty big deal.
That's right, Todd. Thank you. We'd like to welcome Dr. Nithy Sevanthinathan, Director of HCC International Student Services. Welcome back to the show, Nithy.
Nick, thank you very much for the invitation. Glad to be here and provide whatever I can to support our new and current students.
Well, you know, we have a lot of questions in our audience as well about international students. I understand that HCC has the largest international student population in the United States. Is that true?
Very true, Nick. You know, this doesn't happen magically, Nick. It happened almost 20 years in making. The services that we provide, the engagement, the opportunity that we allow them to participate in the diverse model of programs and the pathway to finish at HCC and move on to a four-year school or any other field of their choice. One of the biggest value is HCC provides three important value. One, the classroom size. It's a very small classroom size. Nick, you are a professor. You know your students by the first day or the first week. And I tell every international student, you will never have that experience going to a 4 years university. Probably when you arrive on your first week, probably the faculty may have to use the binoculars to look for you because they'll be in a huge auditorium, 300-400 students. They're clueless why they are there. Whereas HCC,
that's right. Yeah,
that's the key. That's the key. And then the affordability factor of the tuition. And then the third thing, people like you, Nick, teaches the class. No graduate assistant, faculty that is committed to teach them, to shape their dreams, and make sure they participate, engage. And I tell every F1 student, you are at HCC, we don't attend class, don't call me, talk to the faculty. That's not my job. The faculty decides your journey in the classroom.
No, that's a really important point for all of our students, but especially international students. You know, if you take a U.S. history class with me over here at HCC, you're in a classroom with 25. You take the same exact class across the street at U of H, and you're in an auditorium with 400. And it's a completely different experience for our students. So I was reading a little bit. I think there are something close to 1 million international students in the United States, about 5 or 6% of enrollment. Is our enrollment comparable to that, 5 or 6, maybe even more, a higher percent of our students at HCC International?
We are higher, but you know, I want to be very mindful of saying this because we are just coming out from COVID. The world truly have endangered by COVID. Whereas we in the United States and Europe and certain industrialized nations able to get all the vaccinations in a timely manner. But that's not how it's distributed around the world, number one. Number two, there is a huge backlog of international students getting their visa appointments at different consulates around the world. And I learned that there is a huge shortage of staff, like how we are facing in the airline industry. There is a huge shortage of staff. We have about 6,000 over applicants in our pipeline, but we defer them every semester because of not getting visa appointment in a timely manner. Despite that, despite all the issues around the world, my office and my team have truly dedicated in 3 steps. Step 1, our application process is one of the most simplest process. Makes it easier for F1 student. You can test it out with any other applications. They'll ask you, are you a resident of the United States? Why does an F1 needs to know that? That's a very complicated process. They're here to study. They're paying out-of-state tuition. Make the steps, and we work with our IT to make the step. 9 step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, 9 step. You complete, you move to the process. And then the DSOs, the International Student Advisors, process the application and get the I-20 to them so that they can make the appointment with the US consulate. So our process is much more easier. So this is what our number constantly increases.
Right. So we streamline things, that we become more attractive. Right.
Yes, that's the key.
Are we at a point now where we've really done everything we can and it's just a matter of staff at the consulate making sure that students get their visas? Is there a little more we can do now?
Yeah, we have done everything we can, but we also constantly, engage our students in a multiple way. I think last year I worked with Todd and his team, we did a social media engagement around the world, talking about our students' journey. These are the students who graduated from HEC in the last 10 years. And we wanted to show how was their experience and where they are in their life. That clips that went around the world received 1.8 million hits. That many hits. That shows the dynamic of HEC's great work from the faculty, the student side, and our office to engage them. We walk with them. Remember, despite we try to guide them through all the immigration process, we don't work for the US Department of Homeland Security. We work for HEC. We want them to know that we are here to shape your dream. We are not here to enforce immigration laws. And that's something I want to be very mindful of.
Well, I certainly am aware that this backlog of visa processing must be an issue for our students, but I understand there also have been some recent changes in federal requirements for international students. Can you talk a little bit about what's changed?
Yes, over the COVID, the federal government allowed students to take online classes, and that's a historical decision. Never in the history of American higher education where the Department of Homeland Security allowed international students to take all online due to the nature of the pandemic. But as of this fall, we went back to pre-COVID. Every F1 student who are returning back to HEC must take 9 face-to-face classes or hybrid and 3 credits of online. That is the federal guidance. The reason why they made that decision is because if you are taking all online classes after the pandemic, you shouldn't be in this country.
Right.
The whole experiment is the classroom, talking to the faculty, talking to students. This is a very important experiment for you to come here to experience this. In my research, when I was doing my dissertation, there are 3 points was coming out from my research. One, why does an F1 student travel abroad? First, they want to improve their career opportunity. Second, they want to improve their family outcome. And third, they want to make sure they experience the domestic culture. That's the Houston culture. Houston, despite known as domestic, it's a global city. So these are the 3 factors why a student travel abroad and why we should give them all online classes. I'm a strongest advocate to make sure students have the best experiential learning in the classroom, outside the classroom. I'm sure Nick will attest to that.
No, I agree. And those traits you identified in your research about why international students travel abroad to study sound a lot like why people immigrate in general. And so I do have a question for you. When students internationally attend and complete degrees here at HCC or in the United States in general, how many of them stay and how many of them take those educations back home and return from their nations of origin?
So, Nick, our immigration have changed a lot. If you see the world today, one of the biggest factor every country is focusing is building their nation. Because of that, they are making immigration very much flexible. If you look at the current data on mobility, Canada is the highest #1 destination for international students. It's because they're making the policy much more easier for them to migrate. #1 policy that we had in the past was #1 is when the student arrived to Canada as an international student, they allow them to work off campus to support the local economy because there is a huge shortage of workforce at a lower level. So there is no prescription for them. So students who are today graduating from HEC or graduating from any United States university, it depends on what the multinational companies want to do. They want to make sure that they are putting resources around the world. In the past, we saw like about 70 to 80% stay in the US, but that number is slowly dwindling to like about 60% now because a lot of countries are looking for talents. One example, Japan is the newest country, has offered, if you want to do a PhD in Japan in the STEM industry, it's a free education. So they all are looking for talents around the world. So here's an opportunity that we've been building it for 100 over years. If you look, our multinational companies are doing very well in innovation. That skill sets comes from all of us.
Well, before we run out of time here, I'd like to ask you about one more thing. I know that our students face lots of challenges, visas, residency, homes, language barriers, finding work on campus in the United States. Our students can work on campus, not off campus like in Canada. What do the international student ambassadors do for our students? Can you talk about them briefly?
Thank you, Nick. I think our student ambassadors, one of the biggest thing I wanted to make an effort is, this is a peer-to-peer conversation. Students connect with our past students to make sure they know what are the resources. I'm sure you can testify to this. You work very hard to provide the syllabus, and the students don't review the syllabus, and then they will come and tell you, oh, I'm an international student, they're going to deport me. How is that possible? You didn't attend class, you didn't finish the assignment. So we ask our ambassadors to engage most of our new students and returning students to ensure to talk to the faculty. If you have a language barrier, engage. Many of faculties are very, very caring of what they do. If they take time, I'm sure faculty will go out of the way to help them. If they wait till the last minute and give the excuse, my computer breakdown, my car breakdown, and you don't communicate with anyone, and then you come to us and say, oh no, I didn't maintain my F1 status. At that point, I can't do anything. So that's one aspect to engage. So I have very diverse 10 ambassadors from multilingual, multi-country participation. Number two, I also want them to engage our students to provide activities across the 6 campuses so they can see that how much they can learn. One of the best way, you all know this very well, the more you engage, you make good friends. The good friends, you never know the next Google or the next Microsoft or the next Meta will come out from where? From this engagement, correct? That's what we hope to shape that dream inside and outside the classroom, Nick.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate everything you do for our international students.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate the time and hope we'll have a great semester coming ahead.
You too.
All right. Thank you both. Thanks, Nithy. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, we've got a few announcements to go through before we wind up or end our show today. HCC will host financial management and budgeting for entrepreneurs to share strategy to promote inclusivity, diversity, and equal opportunities. It's happening 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow here at the HCC Administrative Building, 3100 Main, Seminar Room B. Also, you can check them out through Zoom, August 15th, 11 to 1. Check our post after the show where you can register for this. And we've got fall registration fairs literally happening across the district right now, Nick.
Yeah, that's right, Todd. On Saturday from 9 to 1 at most HEC campuses all across the system, there will be fall registration fairs. Prospective students can get assistance selecting courses, enrolling, receiving eligible financial aid, and learning of other options to cover costs. There will also be a chance to win $500 scholarships at the fair. Check our post after the show for locations and more information.
There's a faculty exhibition getting underway. Stick to your own circle. HCC Southeast, the title of Erica Garrett's exhibition of round wall sculptures made of plaster cloth and miscellaneous materials, has a double meaning, referring to the shapes of the work and to the saying about sticking to your own small circle of friends and the difficulty of being a part of a set of group of peers. Check it out. Monday, August the 21st through December 8th at HCC's Southeast Wedge Gallery. It's a free exhibition. Just check our post after the show for more information. And also, if you're going to HCC in the fall, you're looking for financial aid, well, you need to fill out that FAFSA form.
Yeah, that's right, Todd. Classes are going to begin on August 21st, and that FAFSA application is the first step in securing financial aid for school. Visit HCC's website to get started on the path to success. Check our post after the show for the FAFSA link, and don't delay. Classes start next Monday.
Food at your fingertips. Check it out. Delivery available at the district offices here. HCC's Asset Management is offering a list of food service providers and delivery options for 3100 and 3200 Main. Whether you're feeding a few or a crew, this can make the experiences more convenient since Neo's Cafe is the delivery point. Such services as Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and others will make deliveries from more than a dozen local restaurants. Check our post after the show for a restaurant list and more information. And as we mentioned, fall registration's underway, and I believe classes are starting, is it is it a week from today?
Yeah, that's right, Todd. Monday, the regular term and the first 8-week sessions begin. So registration remains open. We haven't started classes yet, but next week we'll start pushing students to register for second start or later sessions. Don't delay. We offer classes online anytime. We offer online classes on a schedule with virtual meetings. We offer classes in person, including labs, and we also have hybrid classes and hybrid labs that meet in person and online. To learn more about these HCC programs, start dates, and options for costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
Okay, tomorrow on the show, it's Tasty Tuesday. We're going to check in with the Hotel Zaza. Also, later this week, we'll feature a film by one of our own history professors talking about the history of Black rodeo cowboys. All that and more is happening later this week. Nick, good to see you, and we'll see you next week, right?
I'll be here. Thanks, and everybody, watch that Black Rodeo episode. I saw the film. It's great.
That's right. And we're going to have that, I believe, coming up on Film Friday. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. live for Up to the Minute.